we began to, decades ago, think about including, being more inclusive, then the question becomes, well, how do we then appeal to or attract or represent, a diverse community?
So I heard about this, April got in touch with me exactly 2 years ago when I was in Ukraine. I was there for, I think 6 weeks or so. And one evening was I finished my daily roamings, I got an email from April, and she described the idea of this program, and I immediately thought it was brilliant and very, very appropriate for me to participate in this kind of endeavor because, well, I'm a visual artist, and as a photographer, I've also in the past worked with several non-art constituencies teaching the rudiments of photography so people can express the stories of their lives. The first instance was in Washington, D.C. with homeless people in 1990, and then also here locally with a group of veterans we used like point-and-shoot cameras, those are film cameras actually, and where they were able to describe something about their experience as veterans, as with war and things like that. And they did some great work.
From my experience, I didn't think it was necessary to be, plumbing the depths of the collection to try to find things that were extremely diverse, and that would have been, in our case, just not very fruitful anyway. But to instead find ways of connecting with a variety of people through letting the art actually speak for itself and stand on its own merit. And I felt, again, from my experience with various programs and things that we have done with, say, this school, which has the Utica City School District with a very diverse population, our outreach program, just people coming into the museum, that there was a genuine interest in what they were looking at. That they, on some level, somehow, it did, speak to them. It was attractive to them. It was interesting, and so that's my motivation, was that I really wanted to be able to attract the community that we have them come into the museum, feel more comfortable coming to the museum, relate to the work however they do, and feel that, and for them to feel that that's valid, and to enjoy it. And so trying to do that, but also creating an environment, or helping to cultivate an environment where the community is actually, basically the profile of the community, or the demographics, are represented in the museum as well as outside the museum. We're not there yet, but it's the beginning, I think.
I was a little skeptical, I must say, at the beginning, whether the students would be able to relate to Madame Adelaide with her big,
rightly so.
This kind of splendor, European splendor from people who had lived in refugee camps, seemed a little bit of a stretch, but in fact they did.
I know. I also, my doubts.
We're all getting our gowns now.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's one thing using our collection, like I said, 19th century to the present, our collection, and there's plenty of Ashcan School or things like that, and things that are in the Shared Traditions exhibition. But it was another thing having the 17th and 18th century European art, which and so I thought that was sort of like that whole idea, testing it to its limit, I think, in a way.
It was,
so that's
it worked out. It was really impressive.
Yeah. And in some cases, when they were I had them do the choose a painting to talk about, the last couple sessions or so, and in that case, all the religious paintings, which I had avoided talking about.
Yeah, those are the ones.
That's really went. Yeah. Which and it didn't have anything to do. Well, it did on some level sometimes have something to do with them. Rosa about the education of virgins. I think of my daughter.
And this is the one where who was it?
Islam.
Islam.
The adoration of the shepherds, the sort of nativity scene. And she just
naked baby and
it wasn't glowing baby, but something like that. That was all illuminated and and I decided, especially because I had to talk about this recently, that it was probably the thing about 17th and 18th, especially 17th century painting, is it's depicted in a really dramatic, it's ultra high drama, and then it's all in your face, you know, it's like right, and so that sort of expressionistic, I guess, kind of quality of it, I think, maybe grabbed people, grabbed them. I don't know.
Yeah, was there something?
She had never looked at any religious art before.
That's right,
Because in the
Islam.
Quran, I guess.
Oh, that's right,
they
you
don't-
did that last
Yeah,
year.
right. So I asked her, can you look, is it all right for you to look at these paintings? And she said, yes, because I'm doing it as an education.
Today, of course, I went over and saw some of the students that I'd been seeing, you know, last year at this time. And when else recently I saw, I guess a group came for the tour recently,
Oh,
or
right,
an arts festival or something. And I see, you know, these people walking in and I feel like they're friends.
Yeah.
And I feel this familiarity and I feel like I know them. And I think it's, you know, I mean, it sounds trite or whatever, but it has enriched my life. It has changed my life, really, to be this close to knowing, you know, to knowing these different people. They're individuals to me, too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's not just like this, the refugees, you know, it's like these individual people that have, you know, that I know now. And I just really feel like, you know, I just feel better that especially because it is part of my job, but also because it's my life, that I do work in Utica and, you know, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that until now so much, you know, so that, I think it has made, you know, a real impact and a change, you know, for me.
My work all deals with issues of identity and the layers of history and issues that are relevant to this. And so I turned to a different aspect of it, but this has been immensely gratifying for me as an educator, as an artist, and on many levels, and also for the reasons that April said, that just getting to know individually these different people from different cultures. I'd never met anybody before from Bhutan, for example, you know, just to mention.
Through educating others, we are getting educated.
Always, always. I mean, I learn from my students, always.
Yeah.
And I tell them so. Some of them look at me weirdly because they have this idea of the EBA teacher that, you know, it's lots of, but really it's an interactive process.